What if the world's greatest detective faced the only person who could outsmart him? Not a dangerous criminal, not a ruthless mastermind, but one remarkable woman. This is the unforgettable story of a scandal in Bohemia. It was a quiet evening in London when Dr. John Watson decided to visit his old friend, Sherlock Holmes, at 221B, Baker Street. Since getting married, Watson rarely had the chance to see Holmes. But whenever they met, something extraordinary was waiting. Holmes welcomed him warmly, though his sharp eyes immediately noticed every detail. Without asking a single question, Holmes correctly guessed that Watson had recently returned to medical practice and had traveled through muddy country roads. Watson was amazed once again. To Holmes, the smallest clues always revealed the biggest truths. Their conversation was interrupted by an unexpected visitor. A tall, heavily built man entered the room wearing an expensive mask that completely covered his face. His clothes were elegant, his voice was confident, and his behavior suggested enormous power. The stranger claimed that his identity had to remain secret because the matter he wished to discuss could shake the future of an entire European kingdom. Holmes calmly listened. He had already begun studying every movement the mysterious man made. Unable to hide the truth any longer, the visitor removed his mask. He revealed that he was actually the king of Bohemia. Years earlier, before becoming king, he had fallen deeply in love with a beautiful and intelligent opera singer named Irene Adler. During their relationship, they had exchanged letters and posed together for a photograph. Now the king was about to marry a princess from another royal family, but Irene still possessed the photograph. Little did Sherlock Holmes know, the woman he was about to face would become the only person he would ever truly admire, and this case would become one of the most unforgettable adventures of his entire career. Holmes accepted the case immediately. Unlike ordinary investigations, this one required no murder weapon, no fingerprints, and no criminals. Instead, it demanded intelligence, patience, and perfect strategy. Holmes wanted to understand Irene Adler. Before making his move, he began collecting every possible piece of information about her. Holmes told Watson that Irene Adler was unlike any other woman. She was beautiful, intelligent, and extremely talented. She had been the most famous opera singer in all of Europe. She was known for her independence and sharp mind. Holmes had read every newspaper article written about her. He had seen her letters, her interviews, and even her photographs. Watson was surprised by how much detail Holmes already knew. Holmes said that understanding a person's mind is more important than catching them. If you know how someone thinks, he said, you know how they will act. The next morning, Holmes left Baker Street without telling Watson where he was going. He disguised himself and began watching Irene Adler. She was leaving her home to visit someone. Holmes followed her from a distance, careful not to be noticed. She visited a woman who appeared to be wealthy and noble. They talked for a long time about personal matters. After some time, Irene Adler returned to her home. Holmes noted every detail, her habits, her routines, her personality. He was sure that he now understood her very well. That evening, he returned and told Watson that he had a plan.